What's going on, 80K Sports Performance families? Ryan here with this week's Coach's Corner. And this week I wanted to talk about something that most athletes and parents of athletes come to us when they talk about their goals for their athletes, and that is getting faster. And one thing we see for a lot of athletes that is missing from their training if they're already training, and something that can really make a big difference in building their speed, is plyometrics. So plyometrics are things like jumps, hops, skips, as well as including things like medicine ball throws, where we're going to be forced to produce a lot of force and produce that force really fast. So getting over a hurdle, we need to put a lot of force into the ground to get over the hurdle and then repeatedly jump over those hurdles. We're producing a lot of force fast. And what really drives speed and what makes athletes fast is the ability to produce large amounts of force and then produce that force fast. So common things that we see from athletes is we sometimes will have an athlete that will be really strong and they can move a lot of weight in the weight room, but they can't do it fast. So they have the ability to produce force, but the rate at which they produce that force is lacking, so that's their limiting factor. Some athletes, they can't produce a lot of force and they can't produce force fast. So that is where plyometrics will make a big difference for these athletes, is they learn to produce force fast. So when we're looking at that on a force time curve, we want to see a really tall spike that's narrow as opposed to a not so tall spike that's more gradual. So those are things we can look at in order to help improve on our force decks from valves when we're doing different jump tests and things like that, is what does that curve look like? And then based on that curve and what we're seeing and the data we're getting from that, how we can then help our athletes better. But plyometrics make a big difference for those athletes to learn how to produce force in large amounts and quickly, because if you're not able to do that, chances are you're not going to get faster, and no matter how much speed training you're doing, how much conditioning you're doing, it's not going to make much difference for you. So plyometrics are something that can make a huge difference for your athlete. If they're not doing them, they should be doing them. And if you have questions about how you can incorporate plyometrics into training for your athlete, feel free to reach out and I'm happy to connect. We'll see you next week.